Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome yet again to another episode of Women in Business. I'm Doreen Kemcha and we are on Smart 24 TV. Now, Women in Business is all about the inspiring journeys of women that are making it, that are striving and flourishing and trying to cement themselves within this particular niche. We're also very keen on mentorship and keen on linkages. After every couple of conversations, we do have what we call a reflective. We bring in an enabler, someone who is insightful, someone who has been doing this for quite a long time and is able to guide us through. So on this particular episode, we have an amazing guest, has been doing this for quite a while, has great insight into what is happening within the business and investment fora. Her name is Professor Robina Nanyunja, President, Chair, Pilot International, which is also linked to Women Entrepreneurship Forum, Africa. It is the host of the Trans-African Investment Summit, which often happens, and I think she will get to shed more light on it. She's also the Ugandan delegate for the Global Chamber of Business Leaders, which is based in Switzerland. This promotes global sustainability, and it is on a global scale. Professor, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we are delighted to have you. Very, very delighted.
It's a great pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Professor, our conversations, Women in Business, get to talk about all the nitty-gritties, not only just about the investment opportunities that are there, but is the Ugandan woman prepared to seize these opportunities? That is what we're going to be talking about, because you have been looking at all these nitty-gritties. You are literally a facilitator. You are enabling investment within Africa and calling upon all these different business partners, business owners to come in and seize these opportunities. But is the Ugandan woman really prepared to seize the opportunity there? What's your take?
Well, my take is yes, some Ugandan women are ready. Some, maybe a handful.
Yes.
You know, here I have to be bold and speak the truth, which I normally do. But really, honestly, I would say 95% of the Ugandan women are not yet, prepared, or even, I don't want to use the word fit, but are not yet up to taking up the international opportunities. Because even locally, there is still a lot to do. I know this is a very good program for the women, women in business, but it's still in the Ugandan business, value chain of business. We need more women, but not only just in numbers, but with really solid project ideas, solid programs that really have a big foundation and capacity to be resilient, to impact on other people, women and men, of course, and society in general. So really, to answer your question, I think there is a lot to do with women to capture opportunities in the local business value chain, Africa business value chain, and also globally.
You know, I find it very saddening to hear this actually, verbalized. One, because when we get to talk to women out there, they're so excited. They're so excited. They're beginning to catch up on the essence of formalizing their businesses. They're beginning to catch up on the essence of getting all out there, having the website presence, online presence, reaching out. They're aggressive, and you get to see them as early as 20 years and coming up and rising up. So what are those gaps that really the woman out there versus the opportunities that you've seen is not really taking advantage of? What are those particular gaps that you get to see?
Exactly. So this excitement, as you have mentioned, I think it gets it talks so much on people's minds and also actions. They get excited. They do this and this and this and this. Some women really, it's very hard to see a woman who is self-employed, leave alone these that are employed and they are promoted and that kind of thing. But in the self-employment, if a woman has led a business for 10 years, her own business, you cherish such a woman. Women tend to get excited and do a lot of things at the same time, but not or based on foundation, but petty things. I said you will excuse me.
Yes.
Just
no. We're going to be candid. We're going to be candid.
Petty things. They do this. They do this. They sell mulondo. They sell this. They have a shop. Maybe she's a lecturer also somewhere. By the way,
Yes.
so the level of really focusedness and consolidation disappears in the air, and before you know it, maybe they've collapsed and maybe they are into childbirth and they are giving all excuses, I'm in Nakawere, what and that kind of thing. So within all this, it is basically the level of focusedness. The level of focusedness is still missing. Where does focusedness come from? It comes from determination. That no matter what, whether I sell today or I'm able to get a client for my for my service, or whether IT, whether business connections, whether what, that I will stay there, but instead look for ways, source out more networks, even travel sometimes, invest into myself, personal development, to see that my business rise up and I'm able to do, to get experience and impact, and also, of course, out of it, but also impact on the communities. So with that kind of pettiness in business, you cannot focus internationally. Even locally, you will stay small. You will stay small because at the end of the day, what are you good at? What can you provide? And where is the confidence from the clients or potential clients in your brand, in whatever you do, that even tomorrow you will be there, or maybe you deliver with honesty, or you deliver quality work. Where is that? Where does that come from?
I believe as a founder of Pilot International, when you were starting out, you had your vision to cover a global, global community, right? When I look at the lady that you talked about, maybe just looking at the small things, the small business, and thinking about the mulondo and everything, is she still stuck within the domestic market right now? And then looking for the small bottle, packaging that mulondo of hers, to have all this mulondo juice maybe, and packaging it, but really particularly for the domestic market, and not looking into far horizons. Is that where the problem is? Is that where the problem is?
Well, I think the problem is with the people themselves. We are talking about women or everyone.
Yes. It cuts across as well.
Everyone. The problem is with the people themselves, because I'll give an example. Right from the beginning, when I graduated with my master's degree in environment and international development, it opened me up, because I noticed that there is a lot to do in my country, and also there is a lot to do in Africa. But because I had my master's degree from the Netherlands, and I said, okay, how can I combine the two worlds? Because there are massive opportunities. This is not really to brag, but when I started my company, which by the way I own 100%, so no interference from anywhere. I had that projection, that I want to make a contribution, connect these two worlds.
The buyers and the sellers, or the Ugandan and the
rest of the world, because I believed that people should do more from their communities. They can do more other than based
Still
in
within
here,
this cocoon.
and then I can only trade in Masaka or Kayunga, and that's it.
Yeah.
So right from that time, I have stayed on that, because even you cannot exhaust the international arena, because there is too much to do. I mean, you mentioned about the Trans-Africa Investment Summit. You mentioned about the Global Business Chamber of Leaders. These are all avenues stuck to my vision of international development that I have put on board to facilitate that.
Yes.
Because what does the summit do? The summit brings on board entrepreneurs. For me, I say maybe I was born an entrepreneur. From the word go, I started hunting at a very early age.
Yes.
Yes. So all these programs bring on board entrepreneurs doing different things, looking up for different opportunities. Some of them are looking for financing, others are looking for trade partners. They can sell what they produce to buyers from outside their own countries, and why not? Africa is full of opportunities. It's actually, I don't know even why people exit Africa, for sure.
But also, just to cut you short, what is it about? There's an undertone that says there are so many opportunities globally, internationally, and let us focus down on the woman, the African, the Ugandan woman, who is not seizing these particular opportunities. One, because she's still quote unquote local. She's not looking, she's not merchandising her product to actually fit the international market. She's not looking way beyond the Ugandan context. But then we have UL there, we have UZEA, we have all these different, platforms within and institutions in Uganda, really, trying to ensure that the woman gets to know about the legalities, gets the connections, gets into groups, so that they are able to actually be able to meet the demand. And these are not working. These are not working.
Well, I think women are always in groups, by the way.
Yes,
Even if you don't tell them to be in groups.
Yeah.
Women always are in groups, but how are they using these groups? But also, when they join these groups or networks, personally also I've thrived, and I'm still thriving a lot from many networks, and I'm still mobilizing and, engaging new ones. But what are the mindsets of those people under those even associations? Yes, they are in groups, and they are getting mentorship, and maybe they have the market from their members and that kind of thing. What is the mindset of them, and what are their ambitions? Is it to sell to their group members, or even to sell beyond that? So for me, my take on this, or my advice, would be like, yes, of course, get into networks. The business is good with numbers, creates a lot of impact, and when you are in numbers, you attract people, entrepreneurs, you attract investors, you attract engagement, whether support or business, you attract. But it's still within there, I think, learn from those that are
already in the system.
Yeah, that have something to offer.
Yes.
In terms of an idea or whatever. Reach out more, but also work more, because you can reach out more when you're producing, very, very small.
Exactly. That is
you
why
won't realize the benefits of networking if you have nothing to offer.
That is why it is so painful. I feel the pain, and something must be done. One, because you have highlighted the ignorance part. Yes, what about the attitudes of these women in groups? But to me, I'm thinking about, yes, the attitudes are there, but they also don't understand. They don't know that there's this vast, diverse market waiting for them. Yes, waiting for their dried pineapples, waiting for their baskets. They have no idea. So who can blame them? Who should blame them? Is it their fault that no one has actually told them about this? And when I say no one, it's really the institutions in place. It's really the key stakeholders that are meant to trickle down this information. It is really all those players, of which you are part of them, by the way. And to be able to tell the grassroots woman down in Kayuga, you know what, if you come as 5, 10 women, 15, you are organized, you are registered, yes, and you are making these beautiful baskets that you have been doing so for the last 30 years. We can be able to formalize, get this linkage for you to be able to take them and meet buyer B who has been looking for these baskets. Why isn't that happening?
Well, of course, I wouldn't also exempt institutions from this, especially also the government institutions, the relevant ministries in enhancing capacitation of the citizens in one way or the other, because they are a bigger force. I cannot exempt them from that. So the Ministry of Trade, for example, the cooperatives and, you know, Uganda Investment Authority and many other institutions that are really catalyzing, you know, the business in Uganda. I think they should also find avenues to reach deeper, because I would imagine they have resources. Government, you cannot equate it to private sector, to private entrepreneurs, because private entrepreneurs have a tight budget and they are really driven to their cause, to their causes. So yeah, institutions have to also help, also awareness, mentorship. And also, because you say the woman down there in Kayunga, yes, the women that are able to have capacity for now, capacitation, are they linked? How are they linked to these grassroots women? So I would also imagine or advise that the enhancement of cooperatives, where you have the leaders, they are more knowledgeable and more connected to the world than the other grassroots. But when opportunities, they can identify opportunities, and then these opportunities trickle down to the women or to the community down there, maybe in terms of production, in terms of value addition, in terms of revenue, income flowing back and forth.
There are a couple of investment areas that are said to be hot investment spaces, right, for any investor coming into Africa. And we shall even talk about why it seems to be one way. The investor coming into, as if as for us, we do not want to actually, you know, meet that particular gap that they definitely have. It seems as if Africa is it's at its prime. It's the right place to go. It has untapped resources. Everyone should come, first serve. That's the vibe I'm getting, yes, from all the investment, most of the investment platforms really, yes, especially that are looking at Africa as having all these untapped resources, yes. Do you feel that is more or less one way, or it can as well cut across?
Oh, actually, it should be two-way, and you know, I'm always very selfish, and if it should be even one way, but coming from this way. Coming from Uganda, coming from Africa to the other part of the world. Because they also need our resources. They need our capacities, services and whatever. But which resources are we sending out there? Mostly are still raw materials. Can we capacitate from here and add value? Industrialize, of course, with a responsibility of the environment. Remember, I'm an environmentalist. But the level of industrialization really is still very low. So where you have resources, but then you are looking for foreign companies to come and establish here, of course, the locals are going to be displaced in one or the other, because maybe I would say they are incapacitated or they cannot produce. If you cannot produce, if you cannot offer something, and me, I'm aggressive, I can provide this or that, I will take away the business naturally from you. So, but of course, to avoid all that, that's why I say I don't exempt even government from this. Let them also put measures to see that, yeah, when the investors, of course, we are in a globalized society and we're not closing borders. But let there be remedies or protections of the local people to allow growth, you know, capacitate them, let them grow, but don't allow them to be displaced within their own territories or country. Allow growth, let these people come in, yes, we depend on each other, but have some kind of protection.
Responsibility.
Yeah, because I'm not saying God brought all this, whatever, but I think circumstances that also our institutions or our governments,
Yes.
coupled with the attitudes, of course, of the citizens,
Yeah.
have brought all this. But all this can still change, given a little more time, but also with a bit of more force to catalyze and quicken things.
I've noticed, of course, you coming very passionately from the environmental side, yes? And of course, some of these investment areas that are up for the grabs, you know, oil and gas, mining, yes, technology, infrastructure, all those are, and real estate, those are the highlighted areas among others. So in mining, oil and gas, let's talk about mining per se. And I'm very sure there are a couple of investors that have reached out on the investment forum, the entrepreneurship forum, really seeking to partner with Ugandan, you know, Ugandan miners and all these other different entrepreneurs. But then I also remember that in Kapchora and Karamoja, you've got actually women that do have their small, like in Kapchora, but doing very small scale gold mining. How can that woman be enabled to tap into this buyer here, this investor who is really looking for all these opportunities, seeking to give this opportunity to the woman in Kapchora, but has a long list of requirements, specifications that they want before this partnership happens? How can she be helped?
Exactly, because I mean, if you look at the miners in Uganda, also a couple of African countries, they are really artisan.
Yes.
They are artisans, small scale. Mine today sell. The other one will, okay, let me say the investor, but maybe the buyer. Yeah. The investor should be able not to buy only, but to maybe invest in capacity, resource, financial resources, even in time. But these are buyers. They come in because our miners are petty, you know, they just dig and then sell, and they are comfortable with that. Now this woman or man who is a buyer buys and, you know, cheaply, moreover, sells it to the destination, whether Dubai or any other country. They process it from there, and then they sell these nice watches you are putting on, and then the flashy Ugandans who travel or whatever, they buy them.
Yes.
So, but that is not the way to go. How do we facilitate these artisanal miners? That is what I said, that capacitation, capacity building is very important. Training and putting an enabling environment, maybe machinery. What are their needs, first of all? What are their needs to do better? Can a needs assessment be carried out by an institution, maybe government?
Yes.
You know? And if the needs assessments are there, some private investors are actually willing to what? To establish in there and walk the talk, invest in that, because they see light at the end of the tunnel. But who needs what? Yeah. Nobody knows. Where is that information? Even if someone goes to the miners themselves and talk to them, I mean, the Ugandan way.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot. It's yes, resources are there, but also we need systems. We need capacity development. We need systems. We need financing, of course. We cannot take money out of all this. You remember, money makes money.
Yes. And
also time to allow growth. But once such systems are put in place, people learn very fast on the job. And if they are learning for anything to do with an income, it's my business, I have to improve this and this, they learn and cope up very, very fast.
I think to me what is still drumming at the back of my mind is what you said, 95% of Ugandan women are not fit. 95% are not fit to actually seize these opportunities that the investors on your forums are putting forth. And as we talk about all these different gaps that are there, it's so chaotic. It seems like actually to the person out there, they would start, where do I even start from? That's where you get overwhelmed and you say, where do I start from? It seems as if even the institutions that are meant to be doing that are not. Or there could be something that they're doing, but it is it's outpaced, I guess, by the demand. It is outpaced. So for you, Professor, who has this part as an enabler, facilitator with this awesome economic forum, where would you even start from? Where would you even start from? Of course, apart from the sensitization, where would you, just briefly, what is that number one thing that you believe you are actually doing that is helping move away from this chaos?
I already started.
Yes.
So don't ask me where to start from.
Yeah.
I already started because I have a couple of women, business leaders, whom I'm facilitating, enabling to improve what they are doing. Yeah. And also access financing, support, and this is really private. You know, private entrepreneurs are hunters, and nobody stops you from doing more and more and more. So yes, I'm already there. I'm already doing that. However, I wouldn't say that I'm happy with the numbers. Yes. But I'm already there. Yes. As I say, it is already. I somehow mentioned that the pettiness, the pettiness, the artisanship, even the women are, by the way, empowered, like in education, in exposure, Ugandan women, but they still have that fear, pettiness. You know, when they sell this or do this, they feel that's enough. Yeah. Maybe they fear to
try
more,
out and to get into uncharted waters.
They think they are going to spend more, but you know, you have to spend.
and on that,
unfortunately, even the little you have, you must spend too.
And on that, let's take a short break. As we get to talk about, let's take a short break, and then we'll be right back after this message.